Hey everybody, and welcome back to Art with Mr. G. Today we're going to paint this beautiful heart design. It looks like stained glass. I'm going to finish this in a little bit. Let's work this up here. And again, hi everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. It's kind of a yucky day out. I'm looking out the window. It's raining, so it's a perfect day to do some art. So let's get this camera where it needs to be. Now I'm going to put this is one that I've been working on for a while. I'm going to put this aside, but this is what we're going to come back to when I start painting. But you start out with a blank piece of paper, and I cut mine into a square. You can really use any shape that you want, but a square works out really well for drawing a heart and making it fit on there. So there's the edges of my paper there. I'm going to lay this out. The first thing I'm going to do is sketch out a heart with a pencil. I'm going to do it lightly so that we can erase if we have to. So I'm going to start near the bottom because the bottom of the heart comes to a point. So I'm going to find the middle of the paper. Here's the left, here's the right, here's the middle. And I'm going to go about an inch from the bottom edge, and I'm going to put a little point there, a little dot. And that's going to come up in the shape of a letter V. So it's going to come up here to the edge, like towards the middle. So I'm just going to sketch a line like that. And then the other way, I'm going to go to the left towards the middle like this and just do a straight line. So I've got this big, wide letter V. And then I'm going to come up to the top where the top forms a point as well. But this time it's going to be in the middle. It's going to be not an inch away, but probably about 3 inches away, like down here. I'm going to put a little point there for reference. And then I'm going to make something that looks like a half of a circle. So it's going to be about an inch away here and an inch away there. We want to give it a nice border. And we're just going to sketch a round half circle. And then we're going to look at this line here. And we might have to do a little erasing, but we're going to make it connect in a nice smooth way. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. It's going to come up about an inch away here. It's going to start curving, and it comes around here, about an inch from the edge here, and then we see our target, which is this line, and we just make that smooth into that. So now we've got a nice heart that fits the paper really, really well. So now we're going to come in and we're going to outline it. We're going to make these lines that are dark so that we can put watercolor colors in here. We're going to use warm colors for the inside of the heart and cool colors around the heart. But we've got to give it that fractured glass, that stained glass look. So I'm going to use this glue. I put it into a little squeeze bottle, like a little ketchup bottle. You can get these at the store. You can probably get them at your regular food store, but definitely Walmart or something like that will have these. I got a bag full of them, about 5 of them for, I don't know, I think $2 or something like that. So I was going to use black paint, but I rummaged through my house and couldn't find some good black acrylic paint. And the reason you want to use acrylic paint is after it dries, the watercolor paint will not bleed the acrylic paint. The acrylic paint dries to be like plastic, so it really works well. You also could use a Sharpie if you don't have paint. A black Sharpie will outline and it won't dissolve as well. So I'm going to take the cover off of this. I didn't have black, but I had a dark blue, and the dark blue is going to be a good contrast, so it'll dry really, really dark. So what I want to do, instead of these round lines, I'm going to make square lines, like straight lines. You can trace it round if you'd like. If you don't have a squeeze bottle like this, you can also use a paintbrush and some black paint or dark blue or whatever you have. So I'm just going to squeeze this, and I'm actually going to let it drip out here. I know when I teach everyone to glue, I say don't squeeze it and don't let it drip out. But with this paint, I want you to do that because we want to have nice, big, bold lines. So I'm just going to do this in straight lines. And I'm going to follow the curve, but then when it starts to, like this one's going to be a real long straight line. And then again, I'm going to do this on the curve, but I'm going to do it in just short little straight lines instead of a curved line. And that's going to help us later. Oop, I don't like that one. That one, I had a bad angle on. Oh well, that one's not my favorite, but that's all right. And we'll do another straight, and then one last one coming all the way down like that. All right, so we've got a good heart. And now we're gonna make these fractures or triangles, diamonds, shapes like this that are straight lined shapes. And there's no perfect recipe for this, so you just gotta kind of make it look like you're maybe a spider and you're weaving a web, and you just come into the middle like this, and you're gonna connect this one. You look for points and you just connect them. So there's a point here, we can connect that, like that. You can connect this one over here, another one. It almost looks like a wheel here. I think I want to break that up, so I'm going to draw one like this, and then one down here like this, and then we'll go, again, there's no exact way to do this. I don't like, well, I do, it looks pretty cool. It's kind of looking like spokes on a wheel, but I'm going to break that up a little bit. I'm going to go like this. And then I'll make this one come all the way across like this. We'll do it a little differently than I did my other one. Do some long shapes. There we go. And then we'll do a couple more. And then we'll do like this. And then maybe one more. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let that dry, and I'll have some real interesting stained glass pieces that I can color in with warm colors. Warm colors are going to be yellow, orange, red, orange, magenta, things like that. Now, with these, I'm going to, for the background, which is going to be my cool colors, I'm just going to draw some lines that go out to the edge. Okay, just draw some lines that kind of go out. We've got a little bit more space here, so maybe we'll break this up into a few other pieces. And that looks pretty good. We'll do a little small one right there. So what I'm going to do now that that is done, I'm going to set that aside and I'm going to let that dry. And that's going to take a while. That's going to take a couple hours. So you might want to do one of my other drawing projects in the meantime, but you're going to set that aside and let that dry. And then when it's dry, a few hours later or the next day, you'll have these lines will be hard and dry, and it'll be a good border for keeping the color inside each of those triangles or shapes. So you're going to get a paintbrush, and I've got my watercolors out, and what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to do warm colors inside the heart, and I've been mixing at least 2 colors inside each of those parts. So I'm going to start out with yellow. I'm going to get it really nice and loaded up, and this looks like a good place for yellow. So that's a real light color, very yellow. And I think I want to bring another color into that. So I'm going to choose this light orange. And I think it looks better when you mix. Boy, I can't even tell the difference. I'm going to go to a darker orange. That yellow orange is really, really yellow. Yeah, there you go. I'll bring some of that orange in there. And maybe half of it I'll do with an orange and the yellow. And then I can stick with this yellow and I can do another shape. So what I like to do is outline the shape first. So real carefully with my paintbrush, I will paint the outside of the line. I'll outline it first. And then once you've got it outlined, then you don't have to be quite as careful. You can be a little bit more loose with your brush stroke and you can finish that in. Now again, I'm going to put a little bit of orange in there just to make it have a little more interest when there's two colors and there's a little bit of blending. It looks a little bit neater, I think. If you want to do it just one color, absolutely, it's your work of art. You can just do it with one color, just solid orange or solid red or solid yellow or magenta if you have it. I'm going to bring one that's got a little bit more magenta or purple. Now, purple is one of those colors that can be both a cool color and a warm color. It just depends on the amount of blue that it has in it or the amount of red that it has in it. This purple has more red in it, so it's a warmer purple. Whereas this purple has more blue in it, so it is a cool purple. Cool colors and warm colors. That's a very big art concept that we have to keep in mind. I think I'm going to use the same magenta, which is a reddish purple. I'm going to use it up here as well. And I'm not going to mix anything in with this. You know what? Maybe I will. I'll get a little bit of red, just solid red. And I'll paint. I rinsed my brush because I wanted to get that magenta off of the brush. But I'm going to bring a little red in here. And I'm going to mix that into the magenta. Just kind of swish it around and it becomes red bleeding into magenta. And then in the outer ones, I've got 1, 2, 3, I've got 4 more cool colors to use. Cool colors, I used purple, like I said, with a blue mixed in it. And then blue, green, turquoise, those are all cool colors. So they work well and you can mix them. This one's got purple and blue in it. So here, if I was going to choose something, I probably wouldn't want to use turquoise again because I got it right next to it. But how about some green? Let's bring in some green. I don't know if that's the same green. Ooh, that is almost like the turquoise. Now I'm kind of stuck. So now I'm going to actually bring some blue in there with that green. And hopefully I'll darken that up a little bit. It's similar to that one, but it's a little bit bluer, so I like it. There are no mistakes in art either. Just do your best. So what we'll do here is we'll finish this up, and this can be a great Mother's Day gift. Mother's Day is coming up in a couple of weeks. This is a stained glass looking watercolor heart. And I'm going to show you the finished product. When I'm done painting it, I'll have that as the opening page, and you can always go back to that if you want to look at the colors and follow along. Okay, so you start out with paint or Sharpie or an outline like this, and then when it's done, it's going to look like a beautiful stained glass heart. I hope you guys enjoy and have fun doing it. I see a lot of people at home are being creative. You're sending me some pictures of your work. You're putting it in Artsonia. I see a lot of great creative kids, and I miss you guys, and I can't wait to see you again. So I'm going to sign off now, and everybody be good.